Hi, boys and girls. I'm just going to click on this because it doesn't look focused. There we go. Today we're going to be learning about texture, and Mrs. Walker is going to be putting some of these really cool texture plates on your table for you to try. And we don't actually draw on the texture plates. So I had some friends one year that actually colored on this. They didn't understand the directions. But what we're going to do, instead of coloring on it, we're going to put it under our paper. And then we're going to take one of these crayons that is kind of special because they've been peeled, right? So they have this whole side that we can use to color with. And we're going to use that long flat side. We're going to lay that on the table. And then we're going to push down as hard as we can. And we're going to rub back and forth, and see if we can't get some texture on our paper, okay? And once you've done it with one color, you can switch, maybe move your plate a little bit, and then switch to another color and go back and forth. Now you can overlap if you want to. I only want to overlap the edges. I want to be able to still see some of my red. Then you could go to another color. And I want you to try to get texture all the way out to the edges of your paper. So Mrs. Walker is turning my paper around and I'm moving it around on this texture plate. I'm trying to make sure that I have it all the way to the edges here, okay? If a little bit gets on your texture mat, that's okay. It's not going to hurt anything, but we don't want to actually draw right on the mat, okay? We want to try not to do that. All right, and then you can switch colors as many times as you want. I've noticed that the edge of the mat has this texture. I'm going to go back and forth. It has this kind of like a castle texture, and the inside has these squares, and I kind of like that. I like the squares and the castle texture. Okay, if you find that you have a space where you got off of your rubbing plate, you want to just move the rubbing plate over so that you can do the whole thing with your rubbing plate. Okay, so how many colors did Mrs. Walker use with just this one plate? I used purple and orange, that's 2, and green and red and black. Okay, so I used 5 colors. I want to challenge you to see if you can use 5 different colors with your texture plate, okay? And then if you are all done with yours, I mean it's colored all the way to the edges, you can flip it over and trade with a friend at your table. So I might trade with this person and use this one instead. And then I'm going to take my colors and do the same thing. Now I'm having to push down really hard. Ooh, that's a cool design, isn't it? And I think I'm going to move it just a little bit. Cool. I'm seeing the edge right there, so I'm going to move it over again. And I'm going to switch colors. Let's see, I haven't tried yellow. Yellow doesn't usually show up very good, but I'm going to do it anyway. Yeah, I don't like that as much. It doesn't show up. I think I'm going to do orange right over top of that. I'm never happy with the yellow because it's such a light color. It's almost too light. Ooh, but purple really pops out, and so does black. I like those colors. Oh, I haven't tried brown, have I? Let's see if brown, that really works too. Okay, so am I done with this one? No, because I can still see white here and white on that corner. So you want to make sure you go all the way to the edges of your paper. Okay? Now, if you use the tip of your crayon, this pointed part, you can make a texture, but you got to work hard at not at covering every space. Okay, it's a lot more work. Okay, so you can do either one, but this one, if you use the tip, it's a lot. You have to go a lot more to get it all covered. Okay, have fun.